Hey everyone! Oh my god!
Hey everyone!
Sorry.
I drew a blank.
Dude, you've been doing this for 5 years. How does that happen?
All right, one more time. It's the heat.
No, Dave. It's the humidity.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey. What? Royale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, you're listening to Superheroes Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And JD.
It's a hot one in the cold town tonight.
Yeah, the speak part of our little group here is not quite working this morning or afternoon or day. See, there you go.
See, there you go, exactly.
Jeez.
Wow, so we have the whole gang back together again. JD has returned from his week off, and John is here. Wow, you guys are in the same room at the same. Well, you're on the show at the same time.
Define room.
So those rumors of you being the same person can finally be put to rest.
Uh-huh.
So what's how was everyone's week? What's new?
My company was tangentially involved in a very large internet outage.
John single-handedly wiped out the Eastern Seaboard.
Well, you see, I kept tripping over that plug, and I got tired of it, so I just ripped it out of the wall, and next thing I know, everything's red.
See, important lesson, boys and girls. Don't let John near your equipment.
Okay, that's not nice.
So yeah, so you were busy with that. How about you, JD? Anything new, exciting?
No, I was kind of down last week, actually. Just a lot of work, getting new books ready to go. So,
well, that's good.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
I actually was on a ambush vacation.
Okay.
Explain. You said it like 37 times on Slack last week.
Oh, that was...
So.
He's daring... I withheld asking for an explanation until now.
Oh, see, well, there you go. I think part of the reason that kept coming up so much in the chat is because Comcast was so messed up.
Return volley.
Dirty love, you're served.
No, last week was both my brothers' birthday are on the same day. They're not twins, but they're both on the 26th. And they initially had made plans to go down to the shore for a few days. And something happened, and my one brother wasn't able to make it. And long story short, I'm at work on Wednesday. My wife calls me up and says, "Take the next 2 days off. We're going to go down the shore." So I went in his stead and had a good time. So
both your brothers have the same birthday?
Yes, and I'm a week before.
But they're not twins.
No, I'm the 19th. They're both the 26th. I don't want to think about what comes 9 months before. That's all I'm saying.
Were your parents like fans of the rhythm method or something?
Oh, okay. All right. Uncomfortable topic. We have plenty of uncomfortable topics to talk about this week.
Yeah, let's go for that. Sure.
So we're going to talk about Luke Cage season 2 a little bit, but before we get to that, there's some news I wanted to hit. Starting with, of course, we haven't really talked about it much on this show. In fact, we didn't even review Solo. We talked about it a little bit, not doing well, considering it was a $300 million budget, and I don't know did it make its money back? I think it did at this point.
Yeah,
but just barely.
It was always going to make its money back. It was just a matter of whether that was going to be like, a couple of $100 million over what it cost, or, right. $5.
So with that, there are rumors now. I don't think this is official. I think this is still just a rumor that Kathleen Kennedy will be stepping down as president of Lucasfilm in September, and that they don't have a replacement for her yet.
Sounds like there's rejoicing in the streets for that.
Sounds like bullshit, quite frankly.
What, that she's stepping down? Or?
Yeah. Until I see something, I don't buy it. I don't. Like, I need something a little more concrete. This just reads like a total rumor mill, like wishful nerd thinking thing to me. I don't know.
Which, hey, you know what? I get that to a point, but one of the things that they pointed out in this article is that it was her decision to fire the two directors for Solo and bring somebody else in to finish the film after 70% of it had been filmed, which obviously ballooned the budget to twice what it should have been, thus making it a failure. Now, one decision, I don't think that's, I don't think you fire someone over one decision. But
well,
yeah.
If that decision costs you $1 billion, then,
Well, the thing is, Solo was never going to make $1 billion.
Yeah. This. I think that putting Solo on the same level that the mainline trilogy films is not accurate. Like, that movie wasn't supposed to be what The Force Awakens and what Last Jedi were.
Oh, true, but still, if you're building off of that, trying to create this extended universe, another one of those, then making a misstep like this is like, okay, look at Dark Universe, or what was supposed to be the Dark Universe, right? You could screw up your entire 10-year plan with this one movie.
Yes, and I feel that you're playing devil's advocate here. But I also kind of think, because, okay, so we all know there's the internet is a buzz. There's all this talk of toxic fandom versus loyal fans and boycotting of Solo and blah, blah. I don't think Solo is not doing well in the box office because of boycotting. I don't feel a conscious boycott among people I know that are fans of Star Wars. It was just like, it was a movie we didn't ask for. It kind of looked good. We all thought it was going to be a disaster, so people hesitated on going to see it. And I think that's really what happened. And again, because of the misstep with the directors, it's gotten blown way out of proportion than what it really is.
I think you're right. I think that this movie, I think we talked about it when we did the review, this movie never really captured people from the get-go. Like, there was something about Rogue One that was just like, Rogue One was just off in its own little pocket, so it had a lot more flexibility, whereas this movie never really had a chance. Like, I'm not saying, and I thought it was kind of mediocre to begin with. Like, but I don't think it had a chance to be successful. I mean, from in the inception, and it never quite got moving in the right direction. At the same token, she's also the person that ordered the reshoots on Rogue One that pretty much made it awesome.
Yes.
So you take the good, you take the bad.
You take them all, and there you have
the facts.
Oh God.
I was wondering if one of you 80s guys would pick up on that one. I'm glad someone did.
Oh, I got it. I saw it coming. I just didn't want to try to remember that.
So speaking of Solo, and I think movies that people really don't want.
Before we leave this one, I want
Right.
to. Did you see the fan? You were gone last week, so I don't know if you said this. Did you see that there was a petition online for a bunch of fans that wanted to reshoot The Last Jedi?
Oh,
And they're trying to. I think they're trying to. I believe they're putting together a GoFundMe.
Well,
so that they can. Is that what it is? So
there's like an email address that you send, and you pledge money to help, and the highest that you can pledge is 10,000. And they've raised a lot of promise money, but I think so one of the other podcasts in the Nerd Podcast Mafia is Dinner and a Podcast. In fact, Steve has been on this show, and they were talking about it, and one of the co-hosts, Joe, I think it was Joe or Mike, had said they pledged $10,000 as a joke. Like, you realize there's all these people trolling them at this point. You know?
Oh, I hope so. This is, like I said, this is either the biggest whiny nerd thing ever, or the single greatest Nigerian prince scam ever.
Yeah. I'd like to see them collect.
I'd like to see what they're going to do when they have all this money and realize that nothing can be done other than a fan film. George Lucas was cool with fan films. I don't know if Disney is. Because that's what you're going to do, because Mark Hamill's not going to do it. Carrie Fisher's busy. You know, like, it's like, I just want to know what goes in the heads of some of these people.
I don't know. I mean, and, like, I'm a Star Wars fan. I consider myself a big Star Wars fan, but, like, there are people who are nuts, you know?
Nuts. And I hate to be this. No, I don't. I love being this guy. I think they're completely, like, so out of touch with reality that I picked on the whole release the Snyder Cut movement. This is on a whole nother level. Like, this is that I don't even venture. I mean, like, if they let's just say they raise $200 million. It's not gonna happen. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, then what? How do you make the movie? Do you
profit?
Well, it's like I said, it's the greatest Nigerian print. But I mean, like, if the plan is to make a movie, like, how are you going to make a movie that no one wants you to make, that, quite frankly, the people in the movie aren't interested in? Like, this whole thought process is so, like, Plan 9 from Outer Spacey that I can't even reconcile it in my head.
Hey, if it were that, it would actually be successful.
Oh, there's a scene from Plan 9 from Outer Space that's perfect right now, and I don't have a soundboard, so I'm just going to have to say it myself. You stupid humans! You're stupid, stupid, stupid!
And to that I would add, oh, hi, Mark.
Wait, no, you're confusing The Room with Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know?
Yes, I know, but The Room is another one that is about right for this.
That's the kind of movie they'll make with this money. All right. Moving on. Speaking of Solo and movies that no one really wants, but they're going to make anyway. Solo writer Jonathan Kasdan has been picked to pen Indiana Jones 5.
Return of the Refrigerator?
So I will say that I think the writing in Solo was decent. Like, I don't have any major issues with any of the plot points or how the movie was put together. It is what it is. It's a prequel, so you're basically just filling in blanks to stuff that we've already heard before. I don't know what else he's done. But Indiana Jones 5. How do we feel about that?
Remember that episode of Indiana Jones Chronicles? You guys watch that show, by the way, in the 90s, the Indiana Jones Chronicles from when he was a kid?
Yeah, the Young Indiana.
Yeah, Young Indiana Chronicles. And they sometimes it had the old Indiana Jones sitting there and he had the patch on the eye. Like, Harrison Ford's that old now. He could be that guy. Like, that's just what's crazy to me about this. Like, I don't really want to watch 80-year-old Harrison Ford pretend to have adventures.
And like try to swing from a whip and all that. It'd be like Pitbull Harry if he was 105. So it doesn't. I'm actually. You know what? I'll tell you something. I don't think I'm really surprised that Harrison Ford decided to do this. If when the movie comes out, halfway through he dies.
Well, then what?
Well, that's the funny thing. The only
I don't know.
The only reason he agreed to do The Force Awakens is because they promised to finally kill him off.
Right.
Which is something he wanted since like Empire Strikes Back. But in interviews, like the character he always talks about having the most fun playing and his favorite character is Indiana Jones. So I don't know, like, but he's
So maybe Shia LaBeouf will take him out with a lightsaber in the middle of the.
There's a guy who systematically destroyed what could have been a really successful mainstream career.
Yeah.
He had that art installation where he like sat in a chair and people could just come in and like yell at him.
Well, I was at CTV. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago when he decided he was gonna get a table at Artist Alley and sell his little sketches, and it was like watching a social experiment. Like, it was surreal. I had watched them because it was like, how do you not? It was, yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're in front of a train wreck, you can't really turn your head.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're all a no on this movie.
I think so.
Pretty much.
I don't know how Spielberg's going to convince me otherwise, because it's just like, like no one wants to watch an 80-year-old Harrison Ford try to run around and be tough. Like, it just doesn't work. So,
and I didn't hate Crystal Skull as much as most people. I didn't. It's definitely the far and away fourth of 4 movies, but I don't find it to be as unforgivable as most people. Right. That being said, I think it should be done.
Nuclear explosion and refrigerator.
I don't know, man. Ark of the Covenant. Like, I think we're drawing like a fine line here. Like, when Nazis' faces can melt by opening the Ark of the Covenant, I really don't think that people surviving a nuclear blast in a refrigerator is that far of a stretch.
What? Do you think he kept his eyes closed while the nuke went off? And that's what protected the refrigerator?
It's suspension of disbelief. Like, he also fell out of an airplane with an inflatable raft and landed in a river, and it was fine. Like, it's just kind of part of the course of Indiana Jones. Like, I think that's nitpicky.
And he didn't lose his hat.
And he never lost his hat. Like, I think, I granted execution is not as good, but at the same time, I think that sometimes these movies from our youth get looked back with rose-colored goggles, and we tend to ignore some of the sillier elements of it. Like,
well, personally, I think nuking somebody when they're in a refrigerator is a great way of executing somebody, but
I also think it's also the issue of escalation, what can you do that hasn't been done before in film and looks cool?
But that was the problem. Indiana Jones 3 wasn't a raise in execution, a raise in action. It was a raise in storytelling.
I agree with that.
This now everything is just, well, we have to have, they're all trying to Michael Bay it. They had bigger explosions, bigger bad guys. The storytelling is secondary now.
That's the first time I've ever heard Steven Spielberg be compared to Michael Bay.
But I think I think he does have a little bit of a point there. It's like Indiana Jones 3 in particular, people don't look as fondly at it as they do the other two, and I think it's a mistake because I think it does have some of the best character moments. And you have Harrison Ford playing off of Sean Connery, Whereas in Crystal Skull, Harrison Ford's playing off of Shia LaBeouf, so who at one point had the potential. At one point, he had the potential to be a really big star, but this was kind of, I guess you would call it the peak of his career because it was all down freaking hill after this.
Mm-hmm. Shia LaBeouf.
Was this before or after the original Transformers? I forget. But I mean, like, this was like the beginning of the end of him as a mainstream star, you know, because he wasn't that good, you know, like he didn't have that kind of a. He didn't have the ability to bounce off an actor the way that Sean Connery did. Like, there's a lot of great moments in that. So I think if you don't have the cool character moments to lean on, you have to go bigger, better special effects. And unfortunately, special effects in that movie were dog crap. You know? So, I mean, like, but there's if you can't deliver story and character, you have to wow them with the Hocus Pocus.
Actually, Hocus Pocus was a much better movie.
I hate that movie, and you're probably not that wrong, to be honest with you.
No, the Transformers. Okay, I had to look it up. The Transformers movies were after Indiana Jones.
Okay, so I'm slightly wrong. It was the slight pinnacle of his career.
Yes,
Transformers 1 probably being the absolute pinnacle.
Well, you know, it's funny. Well, no. First Transformers was before it. Then Indiana Jones. Then Eagle Eye, which actually was a fairly decent movie. And then Revenge of the Fallen. So, poor Shyla. So,
okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Better things to talk about.
Do we? Is this a better thing to talk about?
I don't know. It is kind of a slow news week. So.
So we got some casting news. You know, that Morbius movie that we've all been dying for in the expanded Spider-Man universe that isn't attached to the MCU. Got its star.
Who's Morbius?
He's one of Spider-Man's villains. He's like a vampire, basically.
The living vampire.
Is he like Condiment Man? Like, you know, like third, fourth string or something like that?
No. He's a fairly well-known...
Morbius is a good character.
So more Kite Man than Condiment Man.
No, I would, if we're playing this game, if like, who is Morbius in the DC universe? I would say Ragman.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty up there. That's at least third string.
That's third, maybe fourth, depending on the particular lineup of the evening. But yeah, that's the level I would put him on.
And he's going to be played by the greatest comic book actor of all time, Jared Leto.
Oh God. Well, we won't be.
He's gonna do for Morbius what he did for the Joker.
Prefontaine was a really good movie, but since then, Jared Leto has made some questionable choices.
Then again, I mean, I have said this in the past, and I will say it again. I don't know if we can fully blame him for the Joker and Suicide Squad because, you know, did he come up with the character design? Did he write the script? You know.
Well, he acted it out, so.
You know, the whole thing is a poor idea of execution, like on top of everything. And I do think he's got, if we're going to give Heath Ledger as much credit as we do for his Joker, we have to give Jared Leto as much scorn for his, you know.
Excellent point. Yeah.
So, I think any criticism of the Suicide Squad is not enough, in my opinion. I don't think anybody wants this movie.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, again, it's that whole why they're trying to do this expanded Spider-Man universe that's not attached to the MCU, right?
Without Spider-Man, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Although, if the goal is to make these Spider movies without Spider-Man, I do think Morbius is a character you could do that with. Cause he does have he's just a tangential Spider-Man character. In the 90s, he was doing his own thing at the Midnight Suns. That being said, I just don't know if there's enough interesting going on there. You know?
Right.
Okay. We'll see when we see it.
We'll see. All right. So going on to another decision that Sony's making, which probably isn't as bad. It's been confirmed they are developing a Faith movie based on the Valiant comic characters. So, are either of you familiar with Faith?
Faith No More?
No.
That was epic.
No, Epic's a completely different group.
Oh, dude, we can get a whole Abbott and Costello thing going if we just keep ripping on this. Sorry, I got that for a second there.
Oh, you guys.
Michael's song was that popular that they'd make a whole.
George Michael had a sports show that used to come on every Sunday night.
So this feels like it was one of those things where Sandy sat around and went, "Oh yeah, we bought the Valiant characters."
Was that or after they snorted a bunch of coke?
I don't know if they did that, but I don't know about that. But they spent the Valiant story is interesting. The guys who resurrected the company and spent a lot of money on the IP basically had to go through angel investment or venture capital investment to kind of help them along, and then those guys cashed out and kicked the dudes who saved the company out. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but so this whole Sony thing is very, very interesting. Like, someone should make a documentary about Valiant comics, in my opinion, because the whole story going back to Shooter is absolutely fascinating.
Do you think it'd be a better movie than Faith?
I don't know enough about the character. Like, I was reading Valiant when they relaunched the company back in 2012, but I don't know, when Fred Van Lente left Art Armstrong, I kind of lost my interest in what Valiant was doing. But I hear good things that people I know and trust really enjoy their comics, and the character is popular. You know, in a Gwenpool sort of way. She has her fans, and I'm not gonna crap on them, but I don't know. I don't know if there's enough to make I literally don't know if there's enough to make a big mainstream movie out of this. I guess we'll know more when the Bloodshot movie comes out.
Right, which is actually to be start filming soon. Starring the one and only Vin Diesel.
Oof, scary.
He is Groot, though. So, I mean, he's got that going for him.
I wonder if that's the right property to go with out of the gate. Like, there is some cool characters. Shadow Man's a cool character. Archer and Armstrong is a hilarious thing. Like, even Exo Man of War could work in an Iron Man kind of deal. I don't know about Bloodshot. Like, it's always kind of my least favorite property of those major Valiant ones. I don't know. This whole thing I'm very interested to sit and watch how this all develops.
Yeah, I mean, that's either a situation where somebody came up with a really great script and they're like, oh, this is what we gotta kick it off with. Or they went, oh, Vin Diesel's a great vehicle to kick this off with. Who's a character he can play?
It's a good call. And I guess if it is a cart before the horse thing, Bloodshot is the one to go with.
Yeah. So we shall see. I'm sure we'll get previews on that soon. Bloodshot, not Faith, because they just announced they're making the movie. Speaking of, and this leads us into our main event. The movies being made and directors and all this fun stuff. Kristen Ritter, who plays Jessica Jones on the Netflix series, is set to have her directorial debut in season 3 of Jessica Jones. What do you guys think of this?
Good for her.
Yeah, I we'll see how she does, but she's had plenty of time in front of the cameras, so she probably knows fairly well what to do with behind them. We'll see. She should be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's what comes to mind with me, and JD, you might be able to back this up or not. You're probably a little closer to this kind of stuff. That directing TV is a much different animal than directing film, in the sense, especially when you get to season 3 on a show, the actors know what they're doing. The writers are actually king in TV, and the director is kind of just what's the term I'm looking for? Like they're just an overseer to make sure everything gets done.
Yeah, directors go from episode to episode, and they kind of just help. They help move the story along as far as camera and performances go. The showrunner is the guy who's really dictating everything. Like the showrunner is the showrunner, the producer is in charge. So I mean, it's not even uncommon. It's the way it is. Like you're not going to have a guy direct 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes in a row. That would be remarkably rare. So her directing an episode of TV it's pretty cool. It's actually, and there's actually a long history of actors directing shows that they're on and getting careers going. Like Rob Reiner, for example, got his Had his first directing chops done on All in the Family and parlayed it into a big career. Fred Savage, of Wonder Years fame, reinvented himself as a TV director.
Jonathan Frakes, right?
Jonathan Frakes is another great example. Yeah. That's probably the best example, to be quite honest with you, as far as a guy who directed himself in TV and then went on to do films. So I think it's good for her. I know Jessica Jones, they made it a point to have all female directors second season, and I think this, quite frankly, it makes sense. I mean, this is something Christian Ritter wants to do. What better place?
Right. No, cool. I mean, I agree. More power to her. I just always have this image in my head too of when people directing stuff that they're in, and it's like they go, "Oh, you got to do this better in this scene. I need more emotion from you," and then they look in the mirror and go, "You're doing a great job." Sorry, just a bad joke.
Moving on.
So, here we are, our main event of the evening, and we're going to talk a little bit about the smash hit that is Luke Cage Season 2 on Netflix. So, before we begin, we're going to try to be more general in this review, a little less spoilers, because I'll be honest, I'm on episode 11. I haven't finished it yet. John, I know you watched the whole thing. How far are you, JD?
5.
All right, so there you go. We'll try to stick within
Jeez, guys, I finished it the day after it came out. Not because I found out that it was out the day after it came out.
I have a 2-year-old.
Yes, some of us have families.
Well, you let him watch too.
I can't get him to stand still for 10 seconds, let alone watch TV.
So, all right, so let's just go around real quick. From what we've seen so far, everyone just give your general reaction to it, what you're thinking so far. We'll start with you, John, since you've watched the whole thing.
All right, the first 3 episodes, I think they were trying too hard. The middle of the show was pretty damn good, and the end of this season simultaneously pissed me off and made me really interested to see what's going to happen in the next season.
Okay.
Is that generic enough for you? General enough?
Yes. How about you, JD?
I'm having a harder time getting into it this season for some reason. I don't know. It just it's not doing it for me like it.
You said you're on 5?
I'm on 5.
Okay, you'll get better.
Okay. I mean, I love Mike Coulter's awesome, but I don't know. Something about this year's season's just having a hard time grabbing me.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I think I could tell you why, but go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm really enjoying this season. I personally think it's better than season 1. I really am enjoying the villain, Bushmaster. Like, he's well done. I don't know he has an interesting backstory. It's very well tied into everything that goes on in the season, and it's making for a compelling story. There's episode 10, I think it is probably one of my all-time favorite episodes of any of these shows. And
okay.
And it redeems Finn Jones.
Yes,
I think 100%. Sorry, spoiler.
I was going to talk about that. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I like really good, and then I've got 2.5 episodes left, so I can't wait to watch the end of it. And both you, John, and someone I work with says that the ending is very interesting, so can't wait to get to that. So
yes, with air quotes, interesting.
Right. So JD, is there anything in particular that you don't like that's keeping you from getting into it?
I'll be honest with you. I think a little bit of it is I look at 13 episodes and I go, man, that's a lot. because I really like I like Defenders only doing 8, and I always feel like they stretched to 13 what could be done in 10. And I think there's a part of me that just goes, man, this is going to be a long commitment, and there's nothing particularly that's been bothering me about the show. Like, I like the performances. It's just, everything always feels a little like it takes time to get going. I know that's the advantage of TV, but I just feel like it's trying. I'm only 4 episodes in, so I feel like it's just trying my patience a little bit,
No, I actually, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree, and I felt like that. I actually think I felt like that at the beginning too. Like when I was at episode 5, I was just thinking, wow, they could cut some of this out, make it tighter, just make it tight 10. Even if it wasn't 8, make it tight 10.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what they should do, to be quite honest with these things. Continue.
Because then once you get to the back half of the season, and they really go into Bushmaster's history, how he's tied to the Stokes family, how what Mariah's family did, and all of the details. It's just like that's part of what makes it interesting, And it's just like, wow, if they front loaded this, they probably could have done a tight 10 on this. So yeah, I mean, I agree with John. It gets more interesting as you get towards the end. Also, I'm going to say episode 10 was my favorite episode, but it's kind of a bonus episode. Like the tone of the show kind of changes for an episode. So it could kind of it felt like it. Okay, so one of the issues I had with Jessica Jones season 2 was when they brought back Kilgrave for an episode, and it just felt like my issue was it kind of felt like that episode was just written to bring back David Tennant for one episode, right?
Who wouldn't want that, right?
Again, because the episode was written the way it was just like, like it would have been cool if that was something throughout the whole thing, her keeping seeing him, but to just do it for one episode feels cheesy. So that being said, episode 10, we finally get what feels like a good Power Man Iron Fist team up episode. They bring Finn Jones in, but it's just one episode. It's like, oh. So sorry for the spoiler there, JD.
No, that's right. That's kind of. I'm glad they're. I saw something saying that Iron Fist was much better done than this show. I am bummed it's only one episode, but
the show was self-aware of that because while they're walking down the street, Luke Cage looks to Danny and says, "You seem different."
Yes.
So the writers knew that they were taking Danny in the direction that he was supposed to be, right? The calm, centered warrior, not the whiny, punchy boy.
Right, and it's the whole, and it fits. I will say that too.
Yeah. Oh no, it was good. We want to see more of that.
With the way he's being, it fits with the story they're telling for Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
This season. So it was just like, oh, that juxtaposition, and it's just like, I actually want to see Iron Fist season 2 now.
Yeah. Well, just the interaction between them, promises really good things for Heroes for Hire.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's and it's like, I might have to give up my man card, but I teared up when they had their big their big scene together, because I love that comic, and it was just like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Sans, they're still not wearing their costumes.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to wear the original costumes, Dave. I think Power Man, Luke Cage, I think he already nixed that when they had.
No. It still just give me the they have hinted at the modern look for Luke Cage, but like they made him wearing a hoodie like his thing now, and it's just like, why can't you just put him in a yellow T-shirt and leave it at that? I don't even need the big belt buckle that says Cage, you know? Just why can't he just wear a yellow T-shirt all the time?
I kind of like the hoodie.
Yeah, me too.
You're not true Marvel fans.
All right.
And
if you want to be a true Marvel fan, you should be walking around with a tiara.
Yeah, exactly. But again, he did that.
No.
He did that. He did that. But it's ridiculous, so you do it once.
Well, that's what he said. He looked at it and he said, I look like a fool.
He was correct. But, yes.
Well, and then, I kind of feel like, though, they have an opportunity for Danny to put on his costume. Or at least, an up-to-date version of his costume, for him to wear a mask, because at the end of the Defenders, he's going to take over for Daredevil, and, he doesn't want, he talks about, I don't know if this is, I don't want to spoil anything for JD, but there's a lot of jokes about wearing masks in this season, if you pay attention.
Go for it, I'll stop paying. You can talk about it, I'll stop paying attention for a little while.
No, just, they like 3 or 4 people throughout the show make a joke to Luke about wearing a mask, to hide his identity. So, like, to me, that feels like it's setting it up for Danny to wear his mask in Iron Fist to hide his identity, So, that's all. I think they could do it and get away with it. Just weird that 2 Defenders hide their identity and 2 don't.
Yeah. So, what else did you like about it?
Again, Mike Coulter. You are probably the sexiest man in the Netflix, in the Marvel universe, and you are an awesome Luke Cage. I just have to say that again. I love the whole episode 5. So you were at the part where he's in the truck that gets blown up.
Maybe? Yeah.
Right. And he comes out on fire and he's talking to the camera.
Yeah.
It's like,
that was awesome.
Yes.
I'm past that, but yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, like that's Luke Cage. Like that was like, yes, they're doing it. I loved it. What do you think of Mike Coulter this season, John?
Oh, he's good. He's good. I'm a little bit iffy on some of the writing, but like you said, they had a few pretty good points in this season. Like I said, the first 3 episodes, it seemed like they were trying too hard, and the sound mixing was a little bit off for me. There were times when the background sound was a little too loud when people were talking.
I've noticed that too.
That evens out. That goes away. So I don't know if the sound mixer got better or they changed.
Probably different person per episode or something.
Yeah. But beyond that, I don't know about your attention spans. Back in my day, you didn't get to like stream everything all at once, an entire season. You had to wait for weeks and weeks. So 13 episodes, as long as they're, fairly well written, is good. And they had to pack a lot into this one. I think maybe once or twice I caught myself saying, well, can we just get on with it? But, that's, otherwise it flowed pretty well. Luke's attitude is what had me off a bit. And that was referring back to why you were saying you're having a hard time getting into it. For me, it was because I'm watching these shows to see a superhero or just a hero forget his powers. A hero try to go up against people who are pretty much evil or whatever. It's just, they're trying to save people and save the day. And Luke admittedly, this was the point of this season, was him trying to get used to it, getting used to his celebrity. But his attitude was kind of blasé about it through the whole season. And I guess you'll both find out at the end how that ends up. And, it's, it comes down to hoping that Danny comes back to set him straight. But Danny was a high point. Like I said, as I said before, that is the Danny Rand we want to see. That the laid back, quoting, super ninja guy, who's always there to bounce ideas off of, to be like a moral center. And he did that really well. I mean, when those two were together for that one episode, it was cool. I was really sad that he was gone the next episode. And I know they can't do it for like the rest of the season, because the season's called show's called Luke Cage, not Heroes for Hire. But I don't know. What else? What's her name? The main villainess. Shoot. What's her name? Mariah Dillard. Stokes. Right? Man, did she ate entire swaths of the scenery. Like, there must be nothing left of the set at the end of this show.
Yeah.
And she was good though. I mean, she had to be that crazy. It seemed like a natural progression from what she had been through, and I don't know if you've gotten to the point where she reveals kind of why she's crazy, but it's bad, and it explains why she.
Yeah,
sociopath.
I've gotten to that, but let's not.
Right. Okay.
Let's not ruin that detail. But again, it's also why the second half of the season gets so much better, because all these details are filled in, and it makes it interesting.
And then there's the relationship with with Claire, which goes south from that. But
speaking of the name of the show. Okay, so JD, are you at the point where Misty has gotten her arm?
No. I assumed it was coming though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all knew that was coming.
All right. Darn it. So you haven't, there's a little moment, there's a little fourth wall breaking moment in the show, which shocked me, and it's kind of blown over, but like it stuck with me. And it's kind of funny. Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it for you. So you'll see, you'll notice it when it comes up.
But overall, the writing was good. Good and yet still there seemed to be. I think my problem is that I go to these shows to see a hero triumph, and what you're watching is a hero getting or drowning in his own celebrity, and he's trying to find his way through it, and it's kind of hard to watch for me sometimes, because but that's my viewing problem.
I think what you get with the Netflix shows that you kind of get in the movies, but not on the same level, is the thing that makes has always made the Marvel Universe great, is that the heroes are flawed. They have issues that they're dealing with. It's not just them fighting crime and saving the day and then, going off and having a drink with their butler at the end of the night. Like they have issues they're dealing with. They have emotional problems. They have trauma from their past that affects their decisions now, and like you get that on the Netflix shows. That it's like reading a Marvel comic. It's when it's done well, it's the closest it gets to that. And, you know, where in the movies you just get like, oh, here's the origin of Captain America. Here he is fighting the Winter Soldier. Oh, here he is leading a bunch of heroes against a bunch of other heroes.
Yeah. Oh, there is another thing about this show that I liked more than the writing for the last Jessica Jones. And that is that in this show, as you're watching it, you're getting hints and support from the from things that they're mentioning and such, that this happened in the timeline of the Netflix Marvel shows. Jessica Jones, they mentioned almost nothing. It could have stood alone. This one was like, hey, Danny was there. They mentioned the event again. They talked. There were mentions of what happened in downtown with Daredevil and all that. It was natural. It gelled. It was part. You could watch this with the other shows in order, and it makes sense. The last one, I don't know if the writers that they had for Jessica Jones for the last season were against it, or maybe there was something with Marvel or something, but they just they turned that into a standalone, and there was no mention at all of any of the characters outside of her show. But in this one, they even mentioned, was it Paige from Daredevil, the
I think
writer?
I think there was a mention of almost every character and a lot of tie-ins. You had
Foggy was there.
You had Colleen Wigg in the early episodes.
That was awesome too.
That was awesome. I saw that.
Yeah, you have Foggy comes in at one point. You have Karen mentioned.
Yes, Karen.
Because now she's a big shot reporter and all this. And of course the events, the how that affected all of them and their dynamic, and right, it really does tie into the greater picture where Jessica was just like, I'm dealing with my mom.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah. What did you guys think of Mustafa Shakir, who plays Bushmaster?
He's great. Yeah.
Well, that was easy.
Wow. You guys are easy.
Bring him back. I mean, yeah, he was good. I mean, he did a good job of making his character sympathetic. Which I think, now that Marvel, after Black Panther, Marvel knows, hey, this works. And so they're trying to repeat that. They gave him a very credible and sympathetic backstory, and they made it so you could see his side of things.
Right. I don't think it was just Black Panther that did that. I think they've had a lot of villains. That's the whole thing with Marvel villains. They're either well written, sympathetic, and you like them, or they're a dark reflection of the hero, or they're a throwaway.
Yeah, but
cackling.
But they're getting better. I think Marvel's realizing they finally zeroed in on a that in some ways the villains are supposed to be more interesting than the heroes. Because
no, that's a DC fallacy. But anyway, but yeah, to a point, like they did with Michael Keaton in The Vulture. That was another amazing job where he was just a guy trying to do right by his family and was getting screwed over by the government. So he had his reasoning. You have, even to a point, Kilgrave in the first season of, Jessica Jones. I wouldn't call him sympathetic, but you understood, they explained his motivations and why he did what he did.
Right.
Yeah. So, but no, I wouldn't call them better characters than the heroes.
I think when you have to introduce new villains, and you're telling a long form story with the hero, it gives you some flexibility with the hero to move things, to spread things out a little bit. But then you need a villain that can kind of help carry the crux of the middle of your story. So that's why sometimes the villains tend to be dark reflections of the heroes, because the main story is the hero. Like, I think we can all agree Obadiah Stane is probably the least impactful villain in the Marvel universe. Like, the whole, like, he doesn't even get introduced as a villain until the last act of the film.
He made a big impact at the end when he hit the ground.
What up? But I mean, like, as time goes on, you get more interesting villains. The problem with the early DC movies is there was no character development of the heroes and all character development of the villains. I shouldn't even say DC. I should just say Batman. Like, the Burton era Batman films are very little. Batman 89 and all of them. Very much not about Batman. It's very much all about the villains.
Well, there was no character development for some of the villains either. I mean, Justice League.
Oh, I meant the Burton. Like I just said, the Burton.
Yeah.
Oh, the Burton.
The 89 Batman is definitely a Joker, Jack Nicholson Joker movie, and Michael Keaton shows up in a batsuit once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Of course, and then we have who else was on the show?
Lots of people.
Okay, so then we have Misty back, Mercedes Knight. Of course, I hinted at that she will get her arm in this season. Getting much closer to the character we know from the comics.
Yeah, Danny's going to give her a hand for that.
Oh, that was bad. That was painful, John. Like, really painful.
I'm done.
Welcome.
And again, I think she does an excellent job on the show. I'm kind of wondering, are they going to do? Is there any talk about doing a breakout series with her and Colleen Wigg?
Oh, because they were a team. They were a team at one point, right?
Yes.
I've been reading.
And there was a third. I can't remember who the third one was on the team.
Was there a third? I only know about the two.
Do you remember JD?
Sorry, repeat it one more time.
And there was a team with Colleen and Misty, and there was
Heroes for Hire.
Yes, wasn't there a third though?
Well, they weren't. That wasn't Heroes for Hire. They were a detective agent.
No, it was Heroes for Hire.
Well, it was Wing. The comic was called Heroes for Hire. It was the Wing Detective Agency.
Oh, okay, right.
I don't think there was a third.
Okay,
I think it was
maybe I'm thinking.
I mean, they would bounce people in and out working with them, but I want to say it was just Wing and Knight.
Okay, you're probably right.
To Wikipedia.
Right. And then, yes. Well, there was also the Daughters of the Dragon book.
That's
which was just the two of them.
That's the one I heard about.
Right, and then yeah, you're right. It was just the two of them, and of course they teamed up with Luke Cage and Iron Fist and their Heroes for Hire stuff. So, all right. So yeah, I mean, I wonder, are they going to do? Because I think you talked about this before, JD. Like, why not just do a Heroes for Hire season with the two of them, Power Man and Iron Fist, and then do a Daughters of the Dragon season with Colleen and Misty? Like, why keep going on with the same format? Oh, season 3 of Daredevil, season 4 of this show. Like, just do cool breakout shows and don't worry about having a season after season.
I don't know. This is what I keep asking myself. Like, I would much rather see, like, Power Man, Luke Cage and Iron Fist play off each other. Like, I think there's a lot more to do with there. Maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe they want to focus more on the Luke Cage character for now. I don't know. I think there's more latitude there than with some of the stuff they're doing. But again, I can't make a final judgment because I still haven't seen the end of this season.
Okay. Well, we'll count on you to watch the rest of the season, so you can give us your reaction when you get to the end.
Will do.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess like overall, the only negative is it is slow in the beginning. It picks up and gets better towards the end. It probably could have been at least 3 episodes shorter.
Watch your sound mixing.
Watch your sound mixing. Even though Finn Jones does redeem the Iron Fist character, the episode in some ways feels like it was just thrown in to guest star him. I'm not complaining.
Nope.
But
nope.
But yeah. But overall, I mean, and again, I've got 2.5 episodes to go. I'm really enjoying it. I think Bushmaster is a great villain. I don't know what happens to him yet at the end. Don't ruin it, John, but hopefully they don't pull,
it starts with Captain Marvel showing
thing
up, and
they don't pull a usual Marvel thing and kill the character, the villain that you like. Like, hopefully he comes back in some way. So yeah.
What I'm hoping for right now though is that, okay, I can tell you this isn't really a spoiler. The end of this show doesn't have any tie-in whatsoever with Infinity War. I'm hoping that the next, Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and, they're going to have a Luke Cage 3, of course. I hope that they do address that. I mean, I know that there's this little war going on between the TV properties and the movie properties, but as a fan, I like it when they are all part of the shared universe. Maybe at some point Marvel will buy the TV properties and they can bring them in like they did with Spider-Man.
But they own them.
Marvel can buy their own properties. You just like the cyclical logic just made my head explode.
Well, yeah, they're in, but they're not in. You know what I mean? Like they mention stuff, but they're not really there. Not until you see them in the background of an Avengers movie or something.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But my question to that would be, why?
Because Ron Perlman's a pain in the butt. That's why. And Kevin Feige hasn't a stroke where he doesn't have to deal with his BS. That's why.
Nice.
All right. Let's. I'm not gonna give a rating because I haven't finished watching it. It's up to JD if you want to give a rating on the 5 episodes you've watched.
No, I can't give a rating yet.
Yeah. So John, I'll leave it up to you. Since you have finished the show, what would be a score you'd give it?
Well, this is
1 out of 10.
Well, this is nice because my rating is the only one that actually counts.
Oh.
Grandpa. So, all right. Well, like I said, there are a couple of missteps in it, and I'm trying not to let my prejudices about the kind of stories that I like to see, influence what I give it. So I'd give this, I'm going to give this a solid 8. But
okay.
But I can't. When you guys get to the end, you'll understand. I can't wait to see what happens in season 3.
All right. Yes, you've said to me several times, I can tell you haven't finished watching it yet because you're not pissed off yet.
You're not pissed off or despondent. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. Maybe I'll stay up, at least finish the episode I'm on tonight. Cool. Oh, one last news item. Totally unrelated, but we were talking about Marvel buying stuff, and it reminded me, the Fox Disney merger is now, well, number one, they upped the ante on Comcast.
Yes.
Who tried to sneak in and buy it. And it's gone past the,
Regulatory Commission?
Regulatory Commission has approved it.
Already?
So.
Jesus.
So there's one more step. I don't remember what the third step is they have to go through, but they've passed the first 2 steps. So there's one more step. And then, of course, they were saying with Comcast, there are, the issue is that if Comcast merged with Fox, they would own too many television stations or something like that. So they're thinking the FCC won't approve it.
Well, they did. Yeah. They'll say that about Comcast, but Sinclair Group is just fine. All right.
No kidding.
And of course the other aspect of it is that once the merger goes through, Disney has to sell off a lot of the local sports affiliates that Fox owns because they're not allowed to own the same issue.
ESPN and
yeah. So there you go. So it looks like it's going to happen.
I thought Disney was just buying the 20th Century Fox film studio stuff, and that like the Fox cable stuff was going to stay as its own separate entity, which coincidentally is why Fox Television just paid a boatload for World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the article I saw a couple days ago, so I'm not really sure on the details because originally I thought they had said that they weren't interested in the sports side of it all, and Fox was going to splinter off into its own company doing the sports stuff, and that they were just getting like you said, they were just getting the entertainment stuff. So maybe when they upped the money, they said we're taking the whole kit and caboodle.
Maybe that's why they upped the money, because I guess maybe Comcast did offer for the whole thing. I don't know. This is
right.
We need to do more research on this.
Yes, but
I'm not allowed to comment.
As long as they are defeating John's evil company, that's all that matters.
I'm not affiliated with the evil side of things.
You are the evil side of things. What are you talking about?
I'm not.
We're getting new internet, and I can't wait to divorce myself from the Comcast teat.
Once again, I cannot comment.
All right, boys and girls. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we call it a night?
No, I just I can't wait for Jessica Jones season 2 and Iron Fist or Jessica Jones season 3. But
well, this year we're supposed to get Daredevil season 3 and Iron Fist season 2 before 2018's finished. So
is that accurate? I mean, have we heard anything or seen anything?
That's the So the ones that don't have a date are season 3 of Jessica Jones, and there was one other one that's announced, with Punisher season 2. They both have been announced, but no dates. But those two shows, Daredevil season 3 and Iron Fist season 2, have been promised for 2018, but no dates yet. And they are filming Daredevil right now, so we shall see.
You can tell they're filming Daredevil because there's a shortage in the market for fake blood.
So there you go. We have those to look forward to. If you haven't checked it out yet, of course, jump on your Netflix subscription and check out Luke Cage season 2. So far, I think it's better than season 1. Stick with it. It gets better towards the second half of the season. It gets more detail and more story driven towards the end. And that's all we can say. It's a thumbs up, recommended all around.
Yep.
So, on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let your cape go out in the door. Have a good week.